Hello, brilliant jewelry community. Let's continue our leather woven bracelet in Blender 5.2 professional 3D jewelry design. Here we're just going to add a material for visual benefits, material 1, and on the second element, material number 2, and we're going to adapt the viewport display color. Let's make it darker. Let's make it metallic, just because it's nicer to look at. So now we want to complete at least the shape of the oval for the bracelet. So obviously at this point, you need to have an idea of the size of the bracelet in real life. And for that, you can go to the web and search for oval bracelet size chart. What you want is this kind of information as an image, by example. I'm going to use this reference, 70 millimeters by 55 millimeters. So let's go to Blender, top view, that's a numpad 7, and we're going to add a curve, Bezier circle at the center, and like I said, 70 by 55. So this is our Bezier circle size ref, and at once I'm going to put a resolution of 45 in the data, just like this. Good. So now let's take the first woven element and we're going to add a curve modifier. So here it's important that our location and rotation are at 0 for the element and also for the curve. That's our size reference in this case. So location, rotation at 0. The scale should not be applied. Please don't apply the scale. So if your scale is not at 111, don't worry. That's okay on the curve and on the elements. Okay, so for the curve modifier, the object is the size reference here, and we can see that the element is starting to follow the curve. So let's select the second element, and here also let's add the curve modifier on the same size reference. So on the second element, remember that the location is not 0, but that's okay because that's the distance to place the second element in the gaps of the first element. We can see that it also works with the curve modifier. We get exactly the same correct placement for the second element in the gaps of the first element. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go around our oval shape, raising the count for the array, making our woven elements. Now I get a count of 37, but we are overlapping here at the end. Let's tweak the scale on the y-axis. And you're going to see that a very slight change in the amount of the y scale is going to have a very big impact in the distances between the elements. So let's tweak this. This seems pretty good. Now on the second element, we'll have the same count of 37. And let's fine tweak the scale on the y-axis. The scale on the y-axis for the first and the second element might slightly vary. So tweak this and complete the oval. We still have a couple of problems to solve. This is not the correct orientation. And also there's a problem with the reference size. So let's take the reference size and make a copy of it. Shift D, enter, call it number 2, and go to Object, Convert to Mesh. Now, go to Edit Mode. So our oval, the reference size for the real life size of our bracelet, is here at the middle of the bracelet. Let's make it solid with F, move it, and extrude on the Z-axis. So now we can clearly see that we have a problem because the bracelet is too small. But because the orientation is not the correct orientation yet, let's correct the orientation first. Exit Edit Mode. So let's hide the solid reference size. And now to correct the orientation, you just have to remember that the bracelet is made on this small oval for the woven elements. So it means that if I take that element and go to Edit Mode, well, here with all the vertices selected, I can rotate on the x-axis, and this is going to adapt the orientation of our elements. And just by the way, if you go in the wrong direction, you'll get something very pretty nonetheless, because remember that we've made a small border on the inside of our element. I will explain later why I did so, but anyway, the correct angle should be 90 or minus 90 degrees. Let's start at minus 90 degrees. There you go. Now we can see, and also from the reference image, that the orientation for our woven elements and the bracelet is perfect. Now, still in edit mode, on the small oval, show the real life size reference. And here we're going to use a very nice trick in Blender. If I move my shape in edit mode on the y-axis, because that's the orientation of the design, I can make it bigger, because what's happening is that this small oval gets multiplied by the array, and then the array gets the curve modifier to make the path of the full oval of the bracelet. So if I move this small oval, I can adapt the size of the bracelet without breaking the distribution of the elements. And this is the beauty of this method. And you can do it live in edit mode just by adapting the position of the small oval, because when you move it, it adapts its position on the big oval, making the bracelet. Okay, so here, let me move this oval. Let's go to the top view for a better precision. Also turn on the X-rays. That's Alt-Z on the keyboard. Here I can fine tweak the movement on the y-axis. Let's try at 4.5. Let's start with plain numbers. 4.7 to offset my bracelet exactly to my real life reference right here. Okay, this is great. Let's exit edit mode, save and be happy. But here there is still a small concern that we need to address. If you take a close look on the axis, you can see that the bracelet gets slightly thicker on the x-axis and slightly thinner on the y-axis. And for a jeweler, for a jewelry designer, that's not ideal. We need the jewel to be exactly the same thickness all around, because in real life, these type of compressions are not happening. So we need to correct that. So what we're going to do is take the oval Bezier curve right there, making the oval, and let's go to edit mode. Turn on the X-rays, and now we can see the 4 vertices making the oval. The important element here is the radius. On all the vertices, it should be at 1. That's normal, but that's exactly what we need to tweak. So let's go at 0.9 on the left vertex and on the right vertex also. And you can see that this tweaks the thickness of the bracelet. But we're going to have a small problem, because now this compresses the bracelet on the z-axis. That needs to be solved. So let's exit edit mode. We're going to add a lattice. We're going to center it. We're going to scale it to the size of our bracelet there. We're going to set the amount of divisions. Here, by example, I will be using a 7 by 8 by 3 lattice. Now I'm going to first edit the lattice. For that, go in edit mode on the lattice. On the last elements on the left and on the right, I can select all the vertices, and I'm going to scale on the z-axis by an exact number to begin with. I'm going to start at 0.8 only on the z-axis, very important, because the compression only occurs on the z-axis. Let's exit edit mode from the lattice, and let's select the first elements. Let's go to modifiers, deform. Let's add a lattice modifier, and the object is the lattice. Here we go. And we can see that now we have an even bracelet. We have corrected the compression on the X and Y axis caused by the curve modifier. But as you can see here in Blender, we have many tools to solve every aspect of our problems. Okay, on the second woven element, Don't forget to also add the lattice modifier using exactly the same lattice. Great. Now we can hide the lattice and we have solved our issues. Today, I want to create the first render in leather of the bracelet. Let's go to Polyhaven, Textures. We're going to search for the fabric leather 02. I'm going to work with the 8K version of the file and download. Then search for the rock face 03 and download. Now let's go to the HDRIs, search for the bell tower HDRI. I'm going to use the 8K AXR and download. Now let's go back to Blender. Let's call this collection bracelet. Let's create a new collection, call it set, add a camera, make a Ctrl-Alt-0 to set the view to the camera. Don't forget to grab and move your camera, adapt the focal length, add a mesh plane, tweak the size and position. For the bracelet, hide everything from viewport and render right there. Just keep the woven elements. Don't forget to unzip your textures. And now let's go to shading. Okay, very important. Don't forget to save to a new file because we're going to affect the geometry a lot. So we're going to destroy the construction to get a better geometry, a lower geometry, a lower face count to speed up the render. Select the elements, go to Object, Convert to Mesh, to Control J to join all the elements into one only woven leather bracelet and do a remesh modifier. Set the voxel size to what suits you and to what works for your hardware. Turn on the smooth shading and apply the remesh modifier. So don't forget to do a decimate modifier and check the amount of faces. Here I have 9 million faces. So I'm going to set a ratio of 0.1 and reduce the geometry. I'm not going to wait for the calculation here in the tutorial. Now here I have the leather bracelet in my file for the rendering and I have set up the materials. So I'm going to explain how to set up the material using the textures files from Polyhaven. So we're going to use the displacement map. And on the floor by example, don't forget to subdivide your geometry around 8, 9, 10 times or more, depending your hardware. Then in the material tab down here in settings, there is always this important setting here, normally set to bump only. Go to displacement and bump. So now here for the node 3, this is the diffuse map for the rock texture. Don't forget the cubic interpolation. It's a bit better for your pixels. Texture generated vector mapping moved slightly. Then HSV saturation to 0. I want some white rock, let's say, value a bit higher. So it's brighter than the original file. Then ambient occlusion and all that goes to color the material slightly metallic. Then we have same setting for the roughness map. The HSV does nothing here, but it's here if you want to tweak the strength of the roughness. Then the normal map, texture coordinate generated mapping, same setting. The normal map goes to a normal map node to the color, set the strength, then also a bevel. So the normal goes to the normal, then the normal goes to the normal. Okay, then the displacement. So there in the material output, you have the displacement node. So set the displacement node, texture coordinates, mapping, same settings. This is the displacement file and it goes to the height of the displacement node. Set the scale. When the displacement is properly set, you are going to very clearly see that the geometry is affected by the displacement. If I remove the displacement, the entire plane moves in the space because the displacement map has an effect on the geometry. It moves the geometry of the object. And also if you change and tweak the scale, you can see the action of the displacement map a lot more in action, but I don't want to exaggerate the effect too much. This is pretty nice, so tweak the scale accordingly. So then, that's the setup from all the files we get from Polyhaven. So select everything here and copy it for the leather. The setup is exactly the same, but for the details of the leather, what's going to change is that the mapping is going to have rotations and a lot of scale. So we get a lot of tiny details and we don't see that much repetition going on the leather. That's the same for the normal map, the roughness map, and the diffuse map. Every mapping node gets slightly different rotations and scales to vary the effect on the leather. Then the HSV here is pretty low because I want some darker leather. Saturation at 2. Then we do get some ambient occlusion. Check the distance depending the scale of your scene. Very slightly metallic. Don't forget to tweak the IOR, even if it's a solid material. And also don't forget to tweak the specular so that the light is softer on the leather. Here we get a bevel node, very important for the borders of the leather. So that's it for the nodes of the materials. Don't forget to go to World and set the bell tower AXR as environment texture, like I explained earlier. And here what I do is that I reduce the saturation because this image has a very strong yellow element and I don't want that too much. Then don't forget to set up an empty marker for the depth of field. So that's on the settings of the camera in depth of field. Focus on that empty. And my f-stop is very small because my objects are very small. Then don't forget to set some area lights. So here I have 3 area lights, one at the back. That one is blue, slightly blue, as you can see here. I usually set a very high power and then tweak the strength. Then we have a white light on the right side and a reddish light on the left side. Then I'm doing a 4K render, so 200%. And then in render settings, not that many samples. Open image denoiser, quite many light paths on all the elements, and make the render F12. And as you can see, Cycles 5.2 has received many improvements, and this is just a tutorial, so that's always great. Don't forget to save the image, RGB, 0 compression. This was the second part of the leather woven bracelet in Blender 5.2. We still have many things to do with this bracelet, so this will be continued. Save and be happy. Take care and see you soon.